Welcome back, dear viewers. And now the last part of our presentation on French silent letters. We pick it from where we stopped. This is now K. I wish to report to you, dear viewers, there isn't a single case of silent K in French, according to our research paper. We couldn't find it, and we'll be happy to receive your commentary. If you have one, we'll be adding it later on, but our research didn't find any. We come to letter L. Letter L at the end of these words is normally silent. We will say gentil, not gentille. We will say fusil, a gun, outil, not otherwise, including all those in red. You see, fils, that's the son, sourcil, not sourcil, but we write it, sous, but there is L, we don't pronounce it. However, here, when it is feminine, if it's a woman who is drunk, then we shall say soul. The same thing here for gentil. If it is a woman, we would say gentille. Double L will give us the sound ye. And so pou, quel est votre pou? Pou here we write LS, but we simply pronounce pou to mean pulse and coutil. Then we have double L in French sound. These are odd sound now. They don't sound L, they sound ye. Famille, fille, billet, ye. It's not gorille, it's gorille, périlleux, feuille, like that, paille, and so on. Then we have exceptions. These double L will maintain their L sound. They won't become ye like the case before. So we get distillé, ville, syllabe, and the rest here. We come to letter M, the silent form of letter M. We wish to report that all these in red are silent in French. In English, it's the other way around. We say in French, condamné, but in English they will say condemn. It's N which is silent there. Here, it is M which is silent. Automne, that's French, but in English, they would say autumn. M is audible, N is silent. Damné, not damné, like that. Condamnation, not condemnation. These are all silent letters that are represented in red letterings. We now come to this. In this case here, M, N, follow M and N together are pronounceable. Indemne, indemnity. So, somnifère. Here they are pronounceable. There only N was pronounceable. Here both M and N. Hymne, hymne. We pronounce it. Then we come to letter N, and we wish to report that there is no case of silent letter N in French. All the N's you see must be pronounceable. Then we come to letter O. Letter O in the masculine, you know this bird, the peacock, we pronounce it as pan. We don't pronounce the O. And when it is feminine, and here this R is nasal sound. But in the feminine, there's no nasal sound. It's a pan, pan. You see, the same thing as saying paysan, paysan, nasal sound, paysanne. Feminine will not take it, will become an oral vowel, masculine, nasal vowel. That's how French operates. You see? And so we come now to letter P. The silent form of letter P is at the end of words. It's a sirop, not syrup. It's a loo, not loop. Dra, not drop. Like that, throw. However, for these two adverbs, throw and beaucoup, if they are followed by a word which starts with a vowel, they will be sound junction. We would say trop important. Trop alone, trop in isolation is silent, but because of this vowel following it face to face, then they become one sound, junction, sound liaison. Trop important, beaucoup à faire, but alone, beaucoup. With this, beaucoup à faire. And so I'm saying that all the final P in French are normally silent. However, words borrowed from other languages like English have got audible final P. Pop music, rap, clip, beep, cap, jeep. These are borrowed mostly from English, and so we pronounce them. But those from the original French at the end of a word are not pronounceable. They are mute. You see, we come to Q, and so Q, what can we say? We can say there is no case of silent Q, whether in isolation or in liaison. However, in sound liaison, Q will sound K. For example, sauter du coq à l'âne, sauter du coq à l'âne. And also here, 5 enfants, 5 enfants. Alone, 5, alone, coq. Again, even in liaison, it is there, K sound. That's about all on K. We come to R. At the end of a word, R is normally silent if it is masculine. If it is masculine. But it will become audible, this R, if you add an E, when it becomes feminine. Le verger, le boucher, le berger, like that. We don't. Now, when they become feminine, we add an E. We will read up to the letter before E. Bergère, bouchère, boulangère. That's how French operates. Slip of the tongue, forgive me. I'm not an angel. And then we are saying here that all the R found at the end of the first group of French verbs ending in the suffix ER are silent. Aller, placer, mener. These R should not be pronounced. You stop at the E in your pronunciation. Letter S now. Letter S, its silent form is like the majority of French words. At the end, we don't pronounce them when they are at the end, but they definitely will come to be, will be pronounced when we make sound junction. So here we have debris, débris, and then le cas, le bras, le pays, le dos, fini. Chaos, not chaos. Chaos, rang, le pas. So we write the S, but we don't pronounce them. That's the feature of French, language, how it operates, dear friends. The second most studied language on this planet, and more than half of Africans speak French, so we have to communicate with them and know this thing. We shouldn't speak the less prestigious form of the language because we will fail in the exams. We have to go for standard French only. This one we are presenting here. Some S at the end of French words are pronounceable, dear friends. Here we have bus, ours, albatros, oasis, detritus, palmarès. These are pronounceable. We said it, and we'll keep on repeating. Memorization and repetition cannot be omitted from any learning process. So, we need to commit this to memory. We need to learn them by heart. And now let's come to the what? Sound junctions with letter S. Vas-y, vous avez, nous étions. These are making one sound because next to the S there is a vowel. That's how French operates. And now we come to the same rule we had mentioned earlier on. One S between two vowels is always Z in French, dear friends. Vous êtes, there is U, there is E. Maison, there is I, there is O. Poison, there is O, there is I. This is why it is always Z. It sounds Z. Now, look at this case here. This is where I'm really upset with certain news readers or newscasters in America, as they call them. In the UK, they call them news readers. I'm really upset to hear time and again, senior journalists pronouncing racisme. That's very, very wrong. I mean, it's not there in the dictionary. That's why I'm saying it's very, very wrong. And yet, we know these international news channels have got a phonetic department. Maybe the people, the phoneticians there, are in a deep slumber. It's not correct to say socialisme, cyclisme. No, it's not there in the dictionary. It is always cyclisme. The reason why is because S is not between two vowels, but rather between one vowel and one consonant, in which case you to maintain its S sound. This is cyclisme, racisme, socialisme. Anyway, while talking about those international news channels. I wish to thank lady newsreaders. Most of them do a commendable job, really, as far as phonetics is concerned. And my hat off to them. Let them keep it up really like that. And I would encourage my fellow gents to be a bit more cautious, because if the viewers take that sound into an oral examination, they will be marked down, they will fail their past paper. Who is to blame? You are responsible. Your channels are considered here as gospel truth. Whatever you say is swallowed wholly without any investigation, you know. So let's make it really, let's help the people, the learners, acquire the proper pronunciation as prescribed in the dictionaries. That's about all on S. Now we come to double S between two vowels. We said it earlier on. We are repeating to say double S between two vowels will remain S sound. Mission, pression, buisson. No problem there. And then we come to letter T. Letter T, again at the end in French, is basically silent unless when it goes to junction. So here we have some junctions. Look at this. 20, you say 20 there. But then you don't say 20 when you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20, 20. You can say 20 or 20, it's optional. But when it is followed by a word starting with a vowel, it becomes 20 élèves. 8 écoles. But alone, you say 8. You can say 8 or oui. Two sounds. How many are there? Combien sont-ils? 8 or oui. Okay? So we have that one. And in what? Sound junction, that's when it must be pronounced as 8 écoles, 7 ans. Like that. Tout à fait. Alone is tout. T-O-U-T is two. But in junction, tout à fait. That's the sound. Tout à fait. And then écrit-elle. We have to join this sound. But alone, we will say elle écrit. We don't read it. In junction, écrit-elle. Is she writing? And then il met en bas. Okay? Mais alone is silent T. With E, mettant. It becomes audible. And so we come to this one where we have optional sounds. Either you say le but or le but, no problem. You say azimut, tout azimut, or tout azimut, no problem. The month, the 8th month, ou or out, no problem. The choice is yours. You have two options there, two sound options. We come to letter U. Can we report that letter U followed by E is normally silent. That's why it's written in red. We would say quelque. Question, not question. No. U is silent when there is, U is silent when there is E after it. So it's not a question, it's a question. Guerrier, question, langue, manque, vague. They are all silent E and even silent U. We come to V, and we wish to report to you once again that our research didn't find any case of silent V. Should you have one, we'll be happy to add it to our list of silent French letter V. But so far, we didn't find anything. However, we have a few cases of odd sound, V producing strange odd sound. That's why we call them odd sound. For example, we write like this, M-O-L-O-T-O-V. One would say Molotov. No, it's not Molotov. Get your dictionary and you will get Molotov. Because these are from Cyrillic alphabet, not Roman alphabet. Slavic languages, in Slavic languages, most V sound in Roman, pronunciation, Roman letters as F, are represented by F. So, the capital city of that Ukraine it's written with V. Go to your dictionary, you will find Kiev. That's normal. That's how it is. We have to do a bit of memorization here. Kalashnikov is written with V in both English and French. But when you go to the dictionary, it's Kalashnikov for both of them. So this is something we have to commit to memory. Like we said, repetition, memorization, we can't do without that. Or else we won't learn anything. W has only strange sounds. We write W, but we pronounce wagon. We pronounce schwa instead of schwa. W here becomes V in sound. Visible instead of W. Only that sound. This one, WC, we don't say WC, we say VC in the dictionary. That's what we have found in our research. Then letter E, letter X. Letter X producing silent letters is basically at the end of words. It is not pronounceable. So, here we will have the crucifix, la paix, le prix, la tu. We don't pronounce those X because they are silent. You see? And so now we have some odd sound here. The same X can give us X, K, K, X. Xavier. It's not Xavier, no. Xavier. And here, exerces. This second X becomes S in sound. Exerces. It's not xenophobia, it's xenophobia. That's what you find in the dictionary. And then we come to letter Y, which is silent in the following words. When it is preceded by letter E, normally we don't pronounce that Y. So that group of islands, that's why it has got an S there, is called Seychelles. Seychelles. So we don't say, no. And then here, the former capital city of Sri Lanka was to be called Ceylon. Ceylon. I hope you haven't forgotten what we said in our previous clips, that in French, it's only the last syllable which is stressed, not the middle syllable or the initial syllable. The stress is only on the last syllable. Important, éducation, Ceylon, Seychelles, Sydney, Sydney, like that. We don't pronounce those Y because they are silent in French. We have even a few words here. Le bé, okay? This is a title for dignitary in Ottoman Empire long ago. Le dé, you see. So we will also put these as not pronounceable, as mute letters, you see. And so you will have time when at your convenience to go through each item, and we can then prolong the discussion on my Facebook and the other, mass media, means of communication, electronic communications. We now come to the last letter, which is letter Z of the Roman alphabet. Letter Z is silent in this noun, le nez. You see, the nose, okay? And then chez. It's a preposition to mean at the. I'm going to the doctor, chez le docteur. But then this one in sound junction can become chez un docteur, can become audible. Rendezvous, silent Z and silent S. Then we come to this one, we say vous avez, junction here. We will retouch these for your easy reading. As you can see, all this Z here for the second person, vous, plural, when they have Z there, don't pronounce them, please. So, all in all, in other words, everything considered, our recapitulations should read something like, this. Of the 26 letters of the Roman alphabet, there are more with silent letters than without. I can say without or without. So be aware of them all in order to excel in all your oral performances. For fluency and efficacy in French pronunciation to take place, the awareness of silent letters is one of the sine qua non. Without it, it's a prerequisite. Without it, you will always be off the point, mispronouncing continuously, and that is not producing cacophonic sound, and that is not good for your personality, especially if you are addressing a public gathering. You see, so let's pull up our socks. Everyone is learning these languages. The British themselves go to school from nursery up to university learning English. The French are also learning. Half of Africa, more than half of Africa, you see, speak French. So we have to communicate with those people. It's the second most studied language after English. I know Mandarin has more people, but it's confined to China only. But this is everywhere on all the inhabited continent. Are they 5 or 6? Maybe 5, maybe 6. Okay? In the final recapitulation, we wish to make our own recommendation. It is just a prerequisite. Every home, every learner must possess a classic dictionary. If you don't, then with this electronic media, you have to consult an online dictionary. You see, that's the way forward. But in the absence of this, depending on human beings who are fallible, we are all fallible. No one is perfect. No one. Even those top senior journalists, working for the BBC, CNN, VOA, they are not angels. They do mispronounce. The only way you can be on the safe side is to own your own dictionary, and then, we are introducing you to phonetics. You can fish, the correct sound on your own instead of being given fish by those human journalists. Yes, they do a commendable job, but sometimes they mislead the masses, because anyone listening to them will copy that sound and reproduce it somewhere else, and it will be to their disadvantages. So, everything considered, every home where there are students of either French or English, in this case is French, must own a good classic dictionary containing phonetic sounds. You can't be a farmer without a hoe, a tractor, fertilizer. You need, what we call learning and teaching implements for us to be successful in acquiring the proper knowledge of the language we are learning. And we are not learning the less prestigious, we are learning the most prestigious, that is to say, standard French, standard English. That's the one which we use to write textbooks in everywhere. I wish to thank you very much for your wonderful attention, and keep on supporting us. What I can say is share the video, and then why not subscribe, and let's prolong the discussion on my Facebook Lundula, and then we can, help each other. We are all stakeholders. At the center of our activities, we have the learners. It is for these learners we are doing all these things, to help them acquire the proper information. Now, again, I want to appeal to the phonetic department at the BBC and the CNN and the VOA to check at least the sound production of some of their male journalists. I thank you greatly indeed and warmly. Until we meet again, let's prolong the discussion on my Facebook, my internet, and the likes. Thank you very much once more.